Now in its 10th year, this is Gabnet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex, live from Harlem in New York City. It's the Ramble with me, and we'll be here until midnight tonight. Hey everybody, guess what? We go out to California, and we go to talk to our old friend, Larry Bubbles Brown. Yay!
Yay.
How you doing, Bubs?
Good. I was, last night I go to bed watching Seinfeld, and I've seen him 100 times, and last night was the pilot episode, and man, that was not good.
Well, it wasn't bad. It just hadn't developed. They knew what they wanted it to be, but they didn't even have a lane there. The waitress was supposed to be the co-star.
Yeah. Oh, she was. Wow. That's right. Elaine wasn't on there.
Yeah,
right.
No, she wasn't on the first episode. And then when the show got picked up, they figured, I think we need a better woman in there, and they got Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And immediately the show picked up. But then again, they knew what it was going to be at that point. They had a little sense of it. And they only got, renewals for 6 episodes. Maybe was the first run.
Four.
And then the second one was, I think, maybe 6.
Yeah.
And then the third season was a full season pickup. So when people say, he was on for 9 years, not really.
No.
Not 9 complete seasons. No. But what a great show to go to sleep with,
Yeah, it's kind of like my nightlight now.
Well, no matter what, how many of them you see over again and over again and over again, they're always funny.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you know what's coming, they're always funny. So, it's amazing. It's just amazing. But
so, is it the best sitcom ever?
I would have to say pretty close, I mean, can you think of another sitcom that's as funny as that? I mean, prior to him, then I would say maybe Mary Tyler Moore was a very funny show.
That was good. Yeah, I saw one of those recently. It didn't seem to hold up well.
No, it doesn't hold up as well. But the fact is that it was probably the funniest sitcom of all time at that time. But once Seinfeld came along, that became the thing. Everything else has to be judged against, I just, I'm amazed that every time I watch a Seinfeld, and I have Netflix, and they have all the episodes. I can just pick any episode, and I'm riveted to it. Even though I know it's coming. It's amazing, just amazing. So, whatever, Yeah, we were
that show had an amazing way of picking up hilarious, like one-time episode people, like the crazy Joe Davola and
yeah,
and Kenny Bania.
Oh, Kenny Bania, it's the best, Jerry. It's the best. Mendes is the best.
I will be working with him next month. So.
Oh, really? Is he still working as a comic?
He does stand up a little. He's done a lot of acting work, but he told me.
Wait a minute. Well, hold on a second. We just lost him. It's my fault. I think it's my fault. I accidentally. No, I didn't press a button. Yeah, here we go. Wow. No? Okay. Well, we'll try again. Wow, there is a problem here. Let me put this on pause here for a second while I try and get him back. Okay, folks? Wait a minute, I don't even know how to put it on pause. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, we just got him back, folks.
Okay.
Hello. I put it on pause, and then so they've heard everything we already had to say.
Okay, so I was talking about Kenny Banya, how he auditioned for the part, and
Yeah. Well, what about auditioning for the part? You didn't tell me that part of it.
oh, he said when he got the call to audition, it was the character was called the world's most obnoxious man, and when he went in to read for it, everybody was going in the room, and he could hear them. They're all like yelling and screaming, and he just went in and played it the opposite way, just kind of a not mean guy, but just really kind of a glomming on kind of character, and that's how he got the part.
It was a very, very, very memorable part.
Oh, it's hilarious! Yeah, it's gold, Jerry.
But he isn't really a stand-up, is he? As you said,
he actually is. Yeah, he's not a bad. He's a really good comic, actually. But he did much more acting work. He's been in a lot of movies.
Wow. Well, anyway, so that's good for him. He got a part that people will remember him for.
And he's one of the few people. He had like 4 or 6 appearances on there. Very few people got more than one. Like the Soup Nazi only did one.
He only did one. He did 2, actually.
Well, yeah, the finale.
The finale, yeah. Which was. What did you think of the finale?
Didn't really do it.
I went back and watched it, and again, and it's funnier upon second viewing. But what they were trying to do, I think, if I'm not entirely mistaken, is they try to give everybody a final bow.
Right, yeah.
And I thought that was rather nice. I mean, how do you end something like that? But I don't know. You don't watch. You never watch Curb Your Enthusiasm because you don't have.
I've seen some of them. Yeah.
Well, the final episode, Larry David goes to prison. He goes to jail. And he's in his cell, and as he's waiting there, Jerry is let in, and Jerry says, "I got good news for you. I just got you off." And there was a way in which he got him off. Okay, and as they're walking out, he said, "This is probably how we should have ended Seinfeld." And this was the perfect ending. So really what Larry David wanted to do for his finale was go back and redo approximately the same thing, but correct it so that they walk out and it's funny, But
it is funny.
There was. It's hard to say. If I said to you, "What's the worst episode of Seinfeld?" I can't think of one. Maybe that first episode, it was they were just trying to find themselves.
Yeah, I think the last season, the stories were kind of getting a little not believable. So,
well, those last 2 seasons were the seasons without Larry David.
That's right. Yeah.
But Larry David, here's the thing he did: he wrote most of the episodes. And if not, he wrote them with somebody else. That is just so daunting. The only person I know who did that also and went literally crazy doing it was Aaron Sorkin with the thing about the president.
West Wing?
West Wing. He wrote almost every episode. Well, if you do that, after a while, you're going to go just stark raving mad.
Yeah, I don't see how that's possible.
But it was such a good show, and it was so well written, and when you have somebody like Larry David writing almost every episode, you have a consistency too. That's why when Larry David went to HBO and did Curb Your Enthusiasm, he had everybody ad-lib the show. He didn't write a script for it because he didn't want to. He was sick of writing scripts. And
Oh, really?
he
Wow.
would just write an outline of what was supposed to happen, scene by scene, and that was it. And then he'd hire actors he trusted and have them come in and ad-lib it. And the show was probably the second funniest sitcom of all time.
And they both made a fortune.
Oh, my God. Well, they each made... God, I think they all made half a billion, both of them. And then Larry got divorced, so he lost a little bit of
Lost
that.
half of that.
And Jerry kept investing his, and with residuals and everything, I think he's now a billionaire. Oh, and
yeah,
Comedians in Cars with Coffee, that show.
Uh-huh.
A complete success. You know, so it was amazing.
$1 billion.
Yeah, yep.
That's 1,000 million. That's hard to envision.
That's 1,000 million. That's right. That's right.
God.
So anyway, I'm going crazy because I got a whole pile of money and I didn't know what to do with it. So my business manager says, I got a guy in New York. He's the best, Alex. He's the best. I've known him for years. He's been doing business with my clients for 30 years. I've never had a complaint. I said, okay, let's call him. And he took all my money except for about, I don't know, 100,000 or something, which he left in the bank, and moved it over into this. And we liquidated all my Vanguards and stuff like that, and just put it all in this lump sum amount of money, which is in a Fidelity account now, which so far has lost me $7,000. So I don't know. We should have come into the market about right now. Then I wouldn't have lost anything. I don't know. But I guess it goes up, it goes down. I have to get used to this.
Keep your eye on it. That sounds like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
Yes, right. But but I'm not going to leave it in a bank. You ever look at your bank statements, Larry?
Yeah.
There's a little thing in there they call monthly interest that they pay you.
0.001%.
Yes, I had $33,000 in there, and I looked to see what the monthly interest was on that. It was 29 cents.
I was going to say 30 cents, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going, what the fuck? You got $33,000 of my money. Now, I'm not the biggest guy at the bank, okay, but you got $33,000 of my money, which you're using. Okay, as long as it's in the bank and I'm not using it, you're using it. And you can only give me 29 cents in interest? So as soon as I got a whole influx of money into that account, I had to have somebody take it out and do something with it, because you just don't want to have it sit there. What do I want to do? I got 29 cents this month. Maybe on the money that I had put in there just recently, I'd get maybe $1.50. And you go, what the hell is that all about?
Yeah.
Well, you can also take one of our Merrill Lynch things and whatever. No, I don't want your lousy Merrill Lynch thing. So anyway, that's what's up with me. And so far I've lost about $7,000, something like that.
Well, aren't you going to have some fun with the money?
Yeah, well, as soon as I lose it all, yes, I'm sure it will be fine. So this is it's been in there for a week, okay, and it's been a bad week, and so that's what happened. But it's like a casino. I don't think you can ask for your money back. It's like maybe I would have done better by just taking all the money to a casino, taking all the money, put it down on a card table, and hope I could double it, or lose it all.
People have done that, yeah.
Because what is a stock market but a big casino?
It really is.
So I'm not big on that. But anyway, so I have to get used to it. Still, I have a ton of money left, and it doesn't really matter. But geez, almighty. And then I bought a new computer. You're the new first person to be recorded on my new computer.
Oh.
Yeah.
What kind is it?
It's the same as I had before, an Apple Studio, but it's a higher version of it with more memory. It's faster, all of that, and it's more powerful, so that it probably I won't have problems with it losing memory while I'm doing something. So anyway,
How much did that cost?
That ran me $6,500.
Oh God.
Yeah, but it's kind of like my tool. And so I don't ever think of it as a lot of money. I think of it as it's like if I were a musician, I bought a new violin, a better violin.
Mm-hmm.
It's the tool of my trade, and so that's the most important tool I own. Everything else is minor. You don't. Funny, being a comedian, you don't have any tools really. I mean, you don't have a microphone you take around with you or anything like that, right?
No.
It's just you.
It's just me.
Yeah. So you don't have any tools. I've always had tools that I needed, at least at home.
A stand-up comic can pretty much do his act anywhere, anytime. It's one of the few professions that can do that.
You're right. All you got to do is have a suitcase.
Yeah.
Oh, there's your tool of your trade, your suitcase.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you, before we got here this morning to do this little thing we do, I was watching roasts with Gilbert Gottfried.
Those were some of the funniest ever.
I showed it to Marjorie because I said, I want you to see what a roast should be. Not that Tom Brady piece of crap, but what they should be. And when he got up there, he was relentless.
No filter.
No filter at all. There is a filter in that it was on Comedy Central, and there were certain limits as to what they could do, but he took it right up to the edge, and then one of them was the Trump roast. Now, there's a guy with no sense of humor about himself. Yeah.
How'd that one go?
Well, I mean, his whole bit was basically that he talked about Trump being an expert in Eastern European whores, which of course is talking about his wives, and I thought it was just wonderful. He was, and it was a moment at which I really missed, watching it, missed Gilbert. He was
me too. I only met him once on your show.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I got to know him even more when I moved to New York City. I knew him in San Francisco when he would come to town and do the show, but I really got to know him here in New York, and I would see him every Christmas at a party that we both went to for a friend, and we would just stand in the corner and talk for hours. I mean,
really, and
not he wasn't standing there being funny. He was standing there talking to me about this thing, that thing, and we'd always sit by this ham this guy made and just keep chewing on the ham, and I really missed that. I always looked forward to Christmas time because that was when I was going to have quality time with Gilbert.
Uh-huh.
And I just really miss him. Every Christmas I say, gee, I would have been spending this time talking to Gilbert. And I really miss him,
Yeah, he was part of that short period where we lost Gilbert and Saget and Norm.
Yeah, and then earlier we lost, what's his name?
Louis Anderson?
No. The guy told me that if you're going bald, cut your side of your hair short because that's preemptive baldness, He died. He died in a car driven by his
Oh,
daughter.
Schimmel.
Schimmel was just the best. You know, he was to begin with. He was downright hilarious, but he also was just terribly nice. I mean, when I was out of work, I heard from practically nobody. And every time Schimmel would come to town, he would call me and say, "Let's have lunch." He wanted me to remember that I wasn't forgotten.
Yeah, that's a true friend.
More than a true friend, a decent guy, you know?
Yeah.
That's not to say I didn't hear from you, but you were in the neighborhood, you know. But it was, so, I mean, I really like Schimmel.
As you pointed out, it's funny. His setups were filthy. The punchlines were clean.
Yes. The setups were absolutely filthy, and the punchlines were clean. You know, I was at home jerking off, blah 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 blah, getting really filthy and everything, and then I called my father and I said, "Dad, I think I have a my ass is bleeding." You know,
Robert,
okay.
You're on speakerphone.
Yeah, and then the punchline is, "Bob, you're on speakerphone." That, you know, that's a perfect example of how the setup was filthy, but the punchline wasn't.
Yeah.
And then there was Bob Saget, who I always told people about Saget. I said, I know what you think of him with the Olsen twins and that show. I can't remember the name of it.
Full House.
Full House. You see, you should just come to New York and I'll hire you on as my memory. Okay. Full House. And I said, this guy, you get him on a stage and he's the dirtiest comedian you'll ever see.
Mm-hmm.
And he was. I mean, he was just downright filthy. And that's what he did for a living. And he surprised people because they expected, this guy from Full House and whatever. And he just could get so filthy, it was ridiculous. And what he would do in his act, though, is he would constantly apologize for being dirty. And that made it all work. You know, it wasn't just filthy. He was now apologizing for being filthy, and then he would go into something else that was just as filthy. So anyway, that
and another super nice guy.
Oh, very nice guy. You know, we lost a lot of comedians recently, you know?
I know.
And maybe it's because we're getting older, but a lot of them have been going pretty young. You know, I mean...
How old was Gilbert?
Gilbert, I think, was maybe 65, 66, something like that.
I thought he was younger. Wow.
Yeah, and he had something for a while, but didn't tell anybody. And then one day we got the news, Gilbert died. What? You know, it's like, come on, that's impossible. Gilbert was just alive recently. My favorite story about Gilbert is he always used to have this thing with me, where whenever he'd do an interview with me or whatever, he would shout out at the top of his voice. Well, everything he did was shouting out at the top of his voice. Alex Bennett is still alive. And I would, in fact, wait a minute, hold on a second. I think I actually have I think I have it here. Let me see here. Here we go. Here we go.
Alex Bennett is still alive?
So
that's great.
That was Gilbert, right? So he would do that all the time on my show, okay? I'm walking down Fifth Avenue, and across the street, I hear this voice go, Alex Bennett is still alive? I loved Gilbert. I just loved him. He was terrific. He was the best.
It was so funny when he was on Letterman doing a set, and just his eyes are closed. It was just such a funny delivery.
Well, I got to tell you quickly, and then we're running out of time here. But my greatest moment that I ever remember practically in my life was sitting in high tea at a very famous hotel here in New York with Penn Jillette, Larry Bubbles Brown, and a bunch of other people. I can't remember who were there. And the two of them started in telling jokes, one after the other, back and forth, volleying back. And it was the funniest thing I've ever been involved in. Literally, I mean, it was one of those kind of things where you had to leave for a while because your sides were hurting so bad. And the two of them going back and forth and trying to come up with the dirtiest joke they could think of, you know. And some of them were long, involved jokes, and some of them were just quick one-liners. And I'm sitting between them, and it's like they volleying them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was really a wonderful moment in my life. But anyway, hey, look, we're running out of time here. So
that was fun, though.
So it's time for me to tell you to go ahead and get lost. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Larry Bubbles Brown. Thank you, Larry.
Hey, sir.
Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, okay. Thank you very much, Larry. By the way, I screwed up there. I said that I was at high tea, and I was sitting on one side of me was Penn Jillette. On the other side of me, I said was Larry Bubbles Brown, and I meant to say Gilbert Gottfried. And it's funny because Bubbles didn't correct me, you know, by saying I wasn't there, you know. So anyway, hello everybody. How are you? How are you? Yeah, boy, it is pollen season here, and my eyes, see my eyes a little red there. It's just been brutal. What happens? The worst part about having pollen allergies is that it makes you incredibly tired, and it's been just brutal out here for the last couple of weeks. So anyway, what the hell. So anyway, we have some people waiting to come on here. Let me just do something here. Oh, quite a few, as a matter of fact. We have let's see here, let me make sure that none of them are the terrible people that try and call sometimes, but no, these are all fine. Here we go. There's a popping in. Oh, wow, there's quite a few. Oh, yeah. Okay. There's Vernon Nunn down there, and there's our good friend Jeff and Jason McKinney. Hello, Jason. Good to see you. Kevin, great to see you. Alan, good to see you. Charlie, how are you all right now?
Good. Yep. Do you take allergy pills, Alex?
I don't really take allergy pills. I do take a generic Flonase that they sell at.
Do something here.
To start.
Quite a few. We have, let's see here. Let me make sure that none of them are the terrible.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, Jeff.
Crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, where are we? What did I say? Oh, yeah, Flonase.
Flonase.
But I take the I go to Costco and they have this stuff. I can't remember what it's called. Wait a minute.
Fluticasone. Yeah.
Huh?
It's the same thing. It's fluticasone.
Yeah. But it's cheaper. It's much cheaper than Flonase.
Probably made by Flonase.
I'm sure.
Probably.
The bottles are the same.
Yeah. So anyway, so I use that. I try it. Although I find I've kind of become immune to it. You know, it doesn't work as well. Yeah.
I sent Tony Zyrtec. Have you ever tried Zyrtec?
Yeah, I have.
And he loves it. He took it today and was able to walk and not have any pollen allergies. So.
Yeah. Well, it was
gonna make them all wired.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It's a second generation antihistamine. It doesn't make you wired. Doesn't make you drowsy.
But it doesn't work
unless you're Mexican.
The question is, does it work? you know.
It works great. I take it every day because I have year-round allergies, and the days that I miss, I sure know the difference.
I think I may have some sitting in my.
I'll send you 100 of them if you want.
Don't worry about it. I think I may have some here, but I'm not sure. But you know, I've never. It's never been one of my go-to drugs. But
Don't understand how we evolve on this planet and now we're allergic to it.
what?
Said I don't understand how we evolved on this planet and now we're allergic to it.
It's
You know
tough.
that's a good point you have to make there. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree.
It's
Mother
tough.
Nature keeps evolving, trying to get rid of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get rid of this virus on the surface.
Yeah. But anyway, so but anyway, it makes me. I don't know about you, but pollen makes me tired.
Me
Makes you drowsy, right? I
Yes.
couldn't stay awake today. It was horrible.
So glad I don't have allergies.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
I had a lot of allergies when I was a kid. I mean, I was allergic to my pollen like crazy. So my parents were told by a doctor, if you want to cure him of this, just move to the country.
Born and raised.
Yeah, and expose him to these pollens. And so they moved me to Marin County, and acacia trees, which are the worst for pollen, come into bloom, and it is just the worst thing that could ever happen to you. And I went there, and for about 2 seasons, I mean, kids could hear me a block away. Oh, here comes Alex, because they could hear me wheezing, But then all of a sudden, no more. And I was also allergic to animals, too. So they said, get him a pet. So they got me a cat, and within a short time after sneezing and getting plugged up and all of that, it went away. And so all those allergies went away. And then when I hit about, I don't know, mid-40s, they all came back. And I moved to New York, so it was probably a different set of pollens.
Yep.
I did have cats, and I still wasn't allergic to them, but
Lucky you.
it came back, So, and now it's worse than it's ever been, But then they say pollen is worse than it's ever been. So,
Every year.
yeah,
New record breaker.
yeah. But you would think it does make a lot of sense that the world in which we grew up in, we become allergic to. We should have gotten over those allergies by now. But so how many people here are allergic to pollen and things like that? I know Alan is, Kevin is. Oh, just about everybody here.
No, I don't get much.
You don't
Yeah.
really?
What about the pollen?
What about pollen? He said.
He doesn't get much. I'm
I'm allergic to grass.
sarcastic.
You're allergic to what?
Grass.
Grass?
Yeah.
Just to get out of mowing the lawn at home.
Really?
Never had to mow the lawn.
Grass is a very common pollen.
Glad I'm not allergic to grass, man.
Not that one.
Yeah,
I just like
I like mowing the lawn too.
mold in the fall. Just like makes me sneeze a little
Wait
bit.
a minute,
but
hold on a
that's-
second.
that's
You
it.
like mowing the lawn? Why?
Yeah. I just like mowing the lawn. It smells good when it's cut and everything else.
Yeah, but
It's
do you
fun, man.
have like some kind of a really special lawnmower you use, or
No.
just one of
No,
the?
I got an
hand-
electric one now.
Oh, an electric one. Okay.
I got a zero turn. I love it.
Well, I
Yeah,
see.
I'd like to have one, but I don't got big enough lawn. For
I
that.
see these ads on TV for like steel mowers and so on, and they talk about how, gee, it's good for 2 hours on a charge, and it turns on a dime, and all of that. And then suddenly I'm sitting here wishing I owned a lawn.
It's fun, man. Get out there and cut the grass.
Because
spin,
I love gadgets, and that's the end all of gadgets, man. It turns on a dime. It runs 2 hours
Get
on a
me a
charge.
big old lawn so I can get a lawnmower.
Yeah. But
Then I can take more Allerclear from Costco.
Yeah.
Allerclear? Yeah,
Yep, that's the cheapo Zyrtec, or no, it's cheapo Claritin.
yeah.
Take it
cheapo-
4 of them a day.
Yeah.
Zyrtec's a little stronger, I find.
Really? I'll have to
I was
try
put
some.
on the Allerclear years ago, and
I may
take
have some
every day.
I may have some Zyrtec sitting in the
Look
cabinet.
on your
here.
porch this Sunday. You'll have some.
Oh, okay. All right.
Santa Allen.
Yeah, well, no, he's the serial Amazoner. All of a sudden, something will show up on my front porch and my front.
Jelly
porch.
was not me. That was Kevin.
Jelly was Kevin.
Jam.
Jam.
Yeah. Jelly.
Yeah. So anyway, hello, Vernon. How are you?
Oh, I'm just guilty as charged.
Nice.
So, what's new with you down there in Kentucky?
Oh, not a whole lot. I had to go to a visitation today from a ham radio friend of mine who passed away. He actually got me started when I was a teenager. He lived up the street from me, and he had this big old tower in his backyard and everything. And of course, being curious, I kind of walked over and knocked on his door, and he showed me all of his equipment and everything. Well, he passed away at 85 last Friday.
Wow. What did he die of?
I'm not sure, other than loneliness.
Really?
He and his wife were married for 45 years, and she died. And then he had a girlfriend for a couple of years, and then the girlfriend died.
Oh boy.
Oh,
And
God.
so
Yeah.
And how long ago did she die?
a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, usually what happens is somebody, people are married for all their lives, all right, and then all of a sudden one of them dies. Within a very short time, the other one dies too.
That's partying too hard.
No. Well, that's why I'm surprised that former President Carter is still with us.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he and his wife were so close and so joined at the
All
hip.
that peanut butter he ate.
Yeah, but they were joined at the hip. I mean, and they just loved each other.
They used to walk to church together.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
We built all those houses together.
Yeah.
He was a phenomenal human being.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Especially after he got out of office.
Huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. They say he's the best ex-president we ever had.
Mm.
He walked the walk. He talked the
And
talk.
the worst
and he walked
one
the
just
walk.
got convicted.
Hmm?
And the worst president that we ever got that got out of office.
Couldn't leave that alone, could you?
No.
Never.
Couldn't leave it alone.
I
Guilty as
actually
charged.
didn't bring it up. Somebody else brought him up first.
I brought it up.
It was Vernon. Sorry.
When did Vernon bring it up? I didn't hear.
You asked me how I was, and I said guilty as charged.
Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't get...
Guilty.
It must be terrible to be guilty 34 times,
Not even clear on one of them.
Not even clear on one of them. You thought they would have cleared him on, I don't know, double parking or something, and they got him on every one of them. But
And if they were unsure about what was going on, they said, we got to re-look at what that agreement was. I want to make sure we're right.
yeah, well, I mean, no, they did a very thorough job, that jury. But
Yeah.
what I love is the aftermath. What I loved today, did anybody watch Trump's little speech?
No.
Oh,
I turned it on right when he was finishing. I didn't see the whole
my
thing.
God, I never heard a half hour of nothing being said in my life.
Yeah, you have.
I
Listen
mean,
to Trump before you have.
Wow.
he blamed everyone
Yeah.
except himself.
Sure.
I mean,
He's the biggest, whiniest little bitch there is
He's
out there. It's just,
Yes.
give me a break.
Exactly.
How do you look up to this guy and think he's a strong man? No, he isn't. He just bitches about every little thing that doesn't go his way. He's the biggest whiner out there.
Wah.
Whining little bitch. Yeah. But he gave this speech today, and he makes statements.
Little bitch.
That such and such is true, and everybody knows it. He always says that, and everybody knows it. I don't know.
Brainwashing.
I don't know it.
He said he was prevented from testifying in his own defense. That's BS.
No, he had the opportunity. He could
Yeah,
have,
right.
and he did say that he chose not to because they might, throw things back at him and whatever, and so on and so forth.
And that's the thing too when they're talking about the trial. Like, if the prosecution mentions somebody for a witness but does not call them, doesn't the defense still have the right to be able to call that person because the prosecution already brought them into it?
Yes, they do.
So then, how he keeps on saying, "Oh well, if they would have brought these people in, if they would have brought these people in, if they would have talked about this," no, dude, you could have done the same thing, but you didn't.
Some of the people who testified for the prosecution, they could have, cross-examined, and they didn't.
They didn't.
Like David Pecker.
Yeah, like David Pecker, they didn't, did they? I mean, what's that about? What kind of lawyers did he hire? Well, of course, he H&R Block, but
He hired lawyers that did what he told them to do.
Yeah.
Well,
so this is all on him.
The one thing
he
he
won't
probably
pay them.
did listen to was not getting up to testify.
yeah, but then he
And
said
then-
he wasn't allowed to.
And then
What?
today too, they're saying that he might have broken the gag order again.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't mention what's his name, Cuomo's or whatever his old attorney's name was. He didn't actually
Oh,
mention him by name, but he was talking straight up about him.
Michael
About
Cohen.
Cohen?
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I watched him do this whiny little crying speech of his, and then I go over to Fox. I decide, let me see how they're parsing this thing. I'm telling you, they must have heard a different speech, And the Republicans today have been coming back. Oh, I'm ashamed to be an American. Ted Cruz, I'm ashamed of being an American. Today, American justice was not served and blah, blah, blah. I mean, come on. To begin with, a jury made the decision. This was the fundamental bulwark of American jurisprudence.
But they singled out just getting Democrats in there. They didn't let anybody else in. They were just pure
Oh,
Democrats.
that's not true.
On Fox News last night, in the middle of the night, there was a guy that was interviewed that was a Republican that voted for Trump in 2016 on the jury, that voted from 2016 and 2020.
And he was on the jury.
He was on the jury.
Yeah, and he read Truth Social every day, but he still convicted Trump because of evidence.
It's so cut and dry. It's not.
Well, you have to hand it to people like him, who when they may be pro-Trump and spew what Trump has to say and read Truth Social and everything, but when they're then asked to be a juror, they take it seriously.
Yeah.
And they say, well, as much as I love this man, as much as I want to get down on my hands and knees and fillet him, I'm now a juror. I've got to do the right thing. I mean, I was amazed that every count, came down
Everyone.
that way.
Maybe they should have added some more.
Huh?
Maybe they should have added some more.
Well, but I mean,
It was a documents case from the get-go, and so they couldn't add any more documents than the ones they had.
Right. They actually said that the Alvin, whatever his name was, DA, everybody was putting down Cohen. He said, we actually didn't need him to testify because we had all the documents that we needed already to prove it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Plus, other witnesses that they called before Michael Cohen corroborated everything he said.
all that Cohn did, and he didn't. You don't even have to believe that he tells the truth. All that he did was corroborate what had already been said by other people. And he was kind of the guy on the inside on the day-to-day of this thing, and he just guided you through it. But you didn't have to believe a word he said, and still you would find Trump guilty. So
yeah,
I mean,
the only thing about Cohen was, and it sort of seemed like he was trying to get revenge from Trump. So that was a little worry when he was talking. But
well, wouldn't you, if your family was threatened through this whole thing?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that a logical reaction?
Definitely.
I mean,
definitely. But the prosecution or the defense would say that he's just after Trump because of that. So.
Yeah.
But he brought the documents.
Yeah.
He had proof.
Yep. So anyway, I mean, just listening to these people, listening to the Republicans who are defending him. I mean, come on. The guy was found guilty of a felony, and it wasn't a phony trial. It was all on the up and up. And then the way they vilify this judge who did everything he could to accommodate Trump. I mean, he really good, decent judge, okay, who wanted to have a fair trial. And Trump made it very hard for him. Now, here's where Trump is in trouble. What's coming up? What's coming up on July 11th?
Sentencing.
Is a sentencing hearing, and in the meantime, he has to go down to his parole officer or whatever to have them write up how they feel about Donald Trump and how he's doing and so on, and they give it to the defense, they give it to the prosecution, they give it to the judge, and then all these things will be weighed in to decide what kind of sentence he would get. Now, under normal conditions, this guy was president of the United States.
I don't think he has to do anything.
Can I finish what I'm saying? He was president of the United States. He's a family man, in quotes, a family man. And he has all those things that if you went into court with these kind of charges against you, they would probably say, okay, well, we'll give you probation. We won't send you off to jail. But the thing is that all the things he's been doing in court and when he's out of court and the way he disparages the court system, he doesn't look like a person who's been found guilty who wants to say to the judge, well, I'll be a better person next time, No. He
found in contempt 10 times.
Yeah, but that's not the only point. I mean, the point is he is not setting himself up for a good deal, because the judge can look at him and say, listen, you have no sense that maybe you were wrong.
No remorse.
No remorse, And plus, you're striking out at everybody and at the system, okay? So really, you're not the kind of person we can trust, So, I mean, it's just amazing.
He's going to walk away with probation.
He will walk away with some kind of probation, but
hopefully a tether too, though. But then at the same time, he's going to probably go up to people and be like, look at me, I got a tether. I know what it's like. Vote for me.
Yeah. Well, yes, Alan.
You said that he had the judge is waiting for his probation officer to report on him before they sentence him.
Mm-hmm.
That's not correct. He's not been ordered into probation yet.
It's not probation. I'm using the wrong term, but he has to go for a meeting with a
court official.
Court official.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, that he does.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought they said he was probation, but
probation's punishment. So that would come if the judge wanted to give him probation or.
But he has to go to some meeting with these people and sit down.
Probably got to get new lawyers
and basically throw himself on the mercy of the court.
Yeah, right.
And say, hey, I'm a changed person. I understand what I did wrong.
I found God.
Yeah.
Right.
All you have
see
to
the Bible. You can buy one for $60. I found God.
Turned it upside down.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me that he's setting himself up to get literally thrown in jail. Maybe he'll give him a couple of months.
As Rikers is preparing.
That's good. I feel sorry for the Secret Service people that have to be there with him.
Nah. Give him 1 week. And if they ever were to do any time behind bars, it'd probably be a week, and that'd be it.
No, though. I think they're required to be with him.
Who's going to do his Who's going to do his hair if he has to go into jail for a week?
Oh, he can get somebody named Bubba in his cell to do it for him.
Do cornrows? Can do cornrows or something.
Cornrows. That would be funny.
He better be glad that he has enough of those MAGA hats to cover it. You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's what he does with the MAGA hat anyway. When he doesn't feel like doing his hair, he just puts the MAGA hat on.
And maybe he'll decide to shave his head because it's just not worth it. And then you can see where they did the scalp reduction down the center of his head, so he looks like a penis.
Oh my God!
I bet if you were to shave his head, he would look like a penis because he has a scar down the center of his head from scalp reduction.
Although I don't think it's the greatest thing in the world, at least wear a hairpiece. Don't do what you're doing now. That part, I saw him today, he was giving his speech, and that part now is down almost around his knees. You know? I mean, it's just ridiculous how he tries to, you know, prevent people from, you know, knowing that he's, well, essentially bald. But anyway. Yeah.
So, Alex, you didn't talk about how the Jews are taking over Mexico?
Well, she hasn't been elected yet. She, the woman running for president of Mexico, looks like she's going to be the winner, is going to be the first female president of Mexico and also the first Jew to be the president of Mexico.
There goes the religion shit.
Well, they're ahead of us, for crying out loud. We haven't even come close to having a Jew as president. You know, so.
God bless America.
Yeah.
I saw that the other day, and I was just like, holy crap, I didn't even know that Mexico was having a presidential election because Trump is just dominating the news.
You can't get away from him dominating the news, and that's the terrible part of it all. But then the latest thing is he claims, he says, that since last night when he was convicted, he's gotten $38 million in contributions.
That's what he said.
How many people here believe that? I mean,
there could be some mobs.
And for all the fact that this guy lies through his teeth all the time, we know that. You know, he's a serial liar. The press goes, guess what? He raised $38 million. I mean, I listened to MSNBC. Yeah. He raised $38 million. Well, wait a minute. This is Donald Trump who's saying it.
Yeah.
Show me the points.
Yeah, show me the receipts.
Yeah.
He also said there were thousands of people across from Trump Tower today, and there were
nobody.
You know.
They all had their cigarette lighters and cans of fuel to throw at the building.
And then he had down in the lobby of Trump Tower his cheering section. He literally
probably paid actors, like when he announced that he was running for president.
Yeah,
he had paid actors in the lobby.
Well, he came around the escalator, and came and stood at the podium, where he was using the American flags as wallpaper, and I was just hoping he would come down that escalator again. You know.
Remember the inauguration?
Yeah.
Remember his inauguration? Remember he said there was millions or something like that, and they're like
record-setting crowds.
They still love to show the aerial view of that. Yeah. I mean, just big, like, it was like a lawn that hadn't been taken care of. You know, these giant blotches out of it. You know. No, he said it was the most people that ever showed up for a inauguration. I wonder how much of this does he believe? You know, and then he just in the speech today, just giving so many things that were wrong. You know, they're just statistics and so on. It's just amazing to me. And now, believe it or not, there are people in this country who find him acceptable as president. A felon.
They have real low standards, don't they?
Well, a felon, a rapist. What else is he? You know?
It's only a New York person.
Huh?
It's only a guy in New York.
Yeah, blame it on New York. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't affect New Jersey.
So what is his base? About 25% of the voting public, something like that?
His
about
base?
25. His base is about 25%,
About
30%.
30, something like that. Yeah.
Well, the
A third,
National
they say.
Science, the National Science Foundation did a survey recently, and 25% of the respondents thought that the sun revolved around the Earth.
That's his base.
25%.
Really?
Yep.
And the Earth is
Ask
flat.
Trump. He would tell you.
Well, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that there was some statistic came out today. Oh yeah, he was quoting the Daily Mail, which is a
That's
newspaper.
a great source.
Do you know where it is?
In the
UK.
mailbox?
UK. They took a poll overnight where?
And that's the thing too. When they do all these polls, any of you guys respond to any of these polls when they text message you or any email you or anything?
No. And the polls have not necessarily proved themselves to be accurate, but this was the Daily Mail, which is a British newspaper owned by, if I believe, it's one of Rupert Murdoch's papers, isn't it?
Tabloid.
Yeah, it's a tabloid. And they said he's now up 6% more after he was found guilty. Boy, they took that awfully fast. They came out with that this morning, and last night he was found guilty. Wait a minute.
6% of 10 people.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. So I mean, it's just the kind of lies he tells and so on, and yet his people, they're fine with it. Yeah.
It just shows how many stupid Americans there are.
Well, I've never given
no shortage of those.
I've never given America much credit for smarts. Okay. I mean, now I don't know if there are other countries that are dumber than we are, but we certainly are. If we aren't the dumbest country in the world, we're sure working at it.
No, we're the dumbest.
Huh?
I've told you about my mother-in-law who escaped Germany in the 40s, right?
Yeah.
Away from Hitler and all that.
Yeah.
She's very, very paranoid of this. She's constantly worried about it. She watches the news. She sees what he says, and she says, "This is Hitler reincarnated," and she sees the resemblance of what's going on. And I said, "Mom, be calm, because there's only 25% of this. There's a lot of nuts out there, but there's not enough nuts." I keep trying to tell her that the democracy will prevail, but she's really paranoid about that not happening. She's still scared
I
about
think
it.
the bad thing is with the internet, more nuts can get together. California
Right.
nuts can get together with New York nuts.
They're more prevalent on TV. They're more prevalent. The news shows more of the nuts than they do the regular people that are just walking around. And I said, just remember that's going on. If you turn the channel to Fox, you're going to see more of the nuts, and if you turn the channel to NBC, you're going to see more of the normal people, showing the nuts and that kind of crap. So,
well,
But then
I
at the same
keep
time,
calming
you
her
got-
down. She's 80-something years old, and she's nervous about all that.
Yeah.
And she saw it in
I
she
say,
escaped
because
it.
she might have seen it before, because you only have 20% that are nuts, but then you might have another 20% who are just like wusses and won't stand up to anybody, and they'll go along with anybody. So now that's
Right.
40%. So
Well, she escaped the bombs. I mean, she left the bomb. She was supposed to get on a boat, and the boat sank, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, there's crazy shit that she went through, and she's paranoid of that stuff.
Well, I don't blame her.
It might happen. It could happen.
I don't blame
I saw
her.
it.
I think that she has every reason to be worried.
Exactly, and I
You
keep
know.
trying to calm her down. And
I am actively looking at how to move to Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, to retire.
What, you want
and
where
move
they're
to
going to have a
Mexico.
Jewish president? Come on.
She can only serve 1 6-year term.
Really?
Yeah, I think they speak Spanish in Costa Rica. That would be much nicer.
Costa Rica's
Now,
pretty good.
we have online right now Bree, who did make the statement about a week ago that he didn't think Trump was going to get convicted.
Yep.
He's not.
Huh?
There's an appeal process. That's number one.
So he
And
has
number
been
two-
convicted.
Number two, on all 34, I think he just I mean, he has to congratulate the Manhattan DA who brought this when he is elected again, because this is the best chance he's had. He's dominating all the news cycles around the world. Most people don't even know why. It's just that there's I Fought the Law, this meme where he's singing, everybody's laughing. He's the greatest entertainer. It's not just nuts that vote for
He's
him.
the
It's also
greatest
establishment.
entertainer. That's going to be big.
Oh, he is.
That's going to.
He is for a politician and for politics.
You know something? I got to tell you, Bree. I think, number one, you're sadly mistaken about the appeals process.
Yep.
First of all,
he is allowed to appeal.
What percentage? Yes, he is allowed to appeal, but what?
We know you love Trump, Bree.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. What?
I don't.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me say. Can I say something here? What percentage of trials or of appeals that go before the appeals court ever get approved and turned around? I'd say it's probably less than 5%. Appeals courts do not easily turn a verdict down, you know. So yes.
And also, the court that he has to appeal to has 5 black women judges on it. So good luck with that, Donald.
Yeah. So what happens if he goes to the appeals and he loses his appeals? Are you going to come back here and say I was wrong?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
But he'll still get elected.
He won't get elected because I think there's enough of us Americans here who have to live with him and know we have to deal with it day to day, and we don't want to see what happened before happen again. We don't want to see the riots coming back. We don't want to see all the open racism. We don't want to see put somebody in power who probably won't leave again.
Let me ask Bree this.
Isn't there some kind of a
Bree, is Trump good for America?
He is what we get right now.
I'm not.
And
that's not the question.
That's not the question.
No, and he is good because he highlights and exposes the flaws in our system.
That's him.
As Bree sits overseas.
As he,
you don't live here anymore.
Now I know why Phil Meyer likes you, Bree.
He exposes the flaws by
being the flaw.
Everybody else.
He exposes.
You guys totally missed the point. You think that he runs everything. If he was so powerful, how did he even get brought into a court? He's not powerful. He's just a regular guy. He's got a lot of money, and he's in the media all the time.
Bree, you know what? He was powerful enough to separate children from their parents and never be reunited to their parents. I don't want to ever see that happen again.
Let me ask you this, Bree. What did you just say that he was?
You guys have selective memory.
I also have a memory of the riots and everything that happened under him.
Pregnancies here in the state of Texas.
And
the idiots he put on the Supreme Court.
There was a statement that was said on here the other day about how the president doesn't have that much of an effect on the market.
Wait, one at a time, Bree. What were you going to say, Jason?
I said the other day you guys mentioned something about somebody mentioned how the president doesn't really have that much of effect on the market. He can't really control the stock market. Bullshit. There was one time Trump opened his fat ass mouth over a weekend. I lost $30,000 out of my 401k in 1 weekend. So don't tell me the president's mouth doesn't have an effect on the market. $30,000 in 1 weekend.
No, why were you invested in Trump.com?
Told you to get rid of it. It's like paper. You can just wipe behind you with it.
Yeah.
Not worth anything. It's pump and dump. You got nothing.
You know, I think one of the sad things
is that Jimmy Kimmel
about this country right now is that we're spending so much time talking about this shit, and there's breaking up? We're spending so much time talking about this stuff, and there's so many issues going on. If we would spend the amount of energy on those issues, we could probably fix something.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, that's right. Take a look at New York, all the crime, and as Trump says, you really think this is first of all, I think when somebody's running for president and they've been a president,
wait a minute. I gotta take umbrage with you.
Historically, the crime rate is down.
Bree, I have to take umbrage with you. I live here in New York City. You know, you're not here, and I got to tell you, I don't see the crime that much more than it has been in recent years. In fact, I think somebody recently said the crime rate is actually down in New York City.
Detroit too, man. We haven't had this low of a crime rate since 1957.
It's generalizations. There are different types of crime, and by the way, the GOP is basically getting away with murder, and you're not looking at it. You're looking at Trump, and they use him as a foil, and everybody falls for it. You never say anything about the GOP in state or in federal. You're always focusing on Trump. You totally miss it. They're just fooling everyone.
We'll sit there and call the GOP hypocrites too, for them sitting to be the same ones who's sitting there saying that he is such a bad person, and then 10 minutes later, oh no, let me blow you. No, I don't agree with the stuff that they do. I don't agree with their views on abortion. I don't agree with their views on so many things, and giving out freaking welfare to corporations who are multi-billion-dollar corporations who make money hand over fist, but yet, God forbid, you give somebody who's starving a couple of bucks.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing that there are any number of states right now that he's been convicted as a felon that he can't vote in.
Yep.
Okay.
Florida has already announced that he can vote there.
Yeah, but that's Florida. Anyway, the point I'm making is that isn't it amazing that there are places where he can't vote, but he can run for president?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this precedent to be set for somebody who is already in prison to say, I'm going to run for president, so you need to release me from prison so I can campaign.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
No, you wouldn't be released from it. But look, if you don't think that there's a double standard here,
the double standard is he's been able to get away with so much shit that the average fucking person would be hung for.
Yeah,
that's the double standard.
No,
or shot.
No, the double.
I could never get away with what he got away with.
None of us
I would never be given the kind of leeway that he was given in this whole trial. They were doing everything they could to kind of accommodate him. What?
If you think this is the end of it, you're wrong. It's open to floodgate.
Nobody thinks it's the end.
There are times when we let elites go. There are elites that we let elites go, and they're not prosecuted. I can give you so many examples of times when
nobody said it was the end.
If we prosecuted them, Trump wouldn't have been doing what he's doing.
I'm saying that it has politics written all over it, and it's custom made for Trump.
No, I don't think there's politics written all over it at all. I think, if anything, he's been given more of a leeway. I mean, this whole idea that Biden had him put up on charges to stifle his hold on a second, his run for the presidency is so full of crap, it's amazing. Because, it's just not the way that Biden works. He doesn't have a history of doing that sort of thing. Yes, Tony. Yes, Tony.
See, here's a question that I can pose to Bree and you guys too. Like, look at Trump, Bree. He was basically still pushing the election was fixed. And so was Rudy. He's outright lying. He's basically playing a shell game. So can I just say I'm going to say this right now. You ready? Rudy Giuliani was in bed with the mob, and it was all a bogus thing that he was getting. I could say whatever I want, like he's doing. You can't just do that. I can't yell fire in a movie theater and get away with it. He's not accountable for anything, and he's still doubling down Rudy. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, the same thing is true with Trump. He doubles down on everything.
That was Tony's point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Trump never said he didn't commit these crimes. He said it was okay for him to do it.
According to Trump, Biden could just whack him, and that's perfectly legal.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, really. I say we do it, really.
All right.
I mean, really. Somebody take him out. Really, if that's the way he wants to play.
Anything he wants to do, and you can't do anything for it, then he could just shoot Trump in the streets, and you can't do anything for him because he's president.
He's literally saying that, like Charlie said. I could shoot somebody in Times Square, and I could
Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
Fifth Avenue. Now, Bree, what do you have to say that he keeps saying everything's fixed? Don't you see? He's trying to cause the.
You got to remember something. You got to remember something. That Trump always accuses other people of those faults that he has.
That he does.
Yeah.
Because he can never take. This guy, Alex. You know what, Bree? I'd rather vote for Al Capone. You know why? At least I know where I'm coming from.
I'll be the first one here to say that I have my reservations about Joe Biden, not of his competency. To get things done, because quite frankly, hold on a second, the economy is better. A lot of different metrics are much better since he took office. But I don't like him for other reasons. I don't like him for his stand on Israel.
I like Biden because he's a fellow Orange. So he's got my vote because he's a Syracuse alum. But
Trump's orange.
But I think that
Trump's orange.
Yeah, he's orange, but not in his alumni. Yes, but the fact is that I believe he has a. I think he was actually I think he was protected for a long period of time, and I think the deal was if he did not run, they would not have brought the case.
See, that's another conspiracy theory. What are you basing it on? Based on what? I can say right now?
Why is there a time delay? Why wasn't he on day
you
one
have
when
no
he stepped
proof.
out?
This is the conspiracy. I can say whatever I want. I don't have to have any facts.
It's not a conspiracy. It's an opinion.
Bree, hold on a second. Bree, it isn't like this case was just brought up yesterday.
Exactly.
It wasn't like it was set up now. In fact, I think it was even started back during his administration.
Yeah, it was directly right after his administration or just before he ended.
Out of the sky
yeah. So I mean, it isn't like they were assuming he was going to run for president again, and let's go get him now.
Exactly.
You know.
I think if he hadn't run, like Hillary, if you remember, there were all these charges that people were saying Hillary this, Hillary that. When she stopped, when she did not win and she didn't run again, all of a sudden we don't hear anything about any of those cases.
Bullshit. It continued.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Well, you know, I got to tell you something.
You're on the wrong side of the world.
I got to tell you something too. The wheels of justice move very slowly. As somebody who can tell you that I spent 10 years before our court thing was finished for a lousy rental problem. Okay.
Can you imagine cases against organized crime? Do you think they do this in 6 months? This is years of getting people.
Yeah.
They got to make sure that if you're going to a federal case, you know how long they have to make sure that if you're going federal, they're going to make sure if they're going,
they're not going to charge you unless they feel they can make the charges stick.
Exactly. You can't just be like, hey, we're not sure about this.
Yeah. So I mean,
well, let me ask you this.
I mean,
why is it that Trump could be our next president again? Why? If everything
because we are a media-driven society, and people in this country are living by the media, and the media is on the whole lying to them. They're not getting a true picture, and they think Donald to this day, and you thought so just when you talked earlier, that Donald Trump was a billionaire. He's not a billionaire anymore. He doesn't have that kind of money, and he probably never really ever did. You know,
it's better for the media.
But because he did The Apprentice, they meant, oh, he must be good with money. He can run our country. What?
He can also bankrupt the only way casino or two.
Well, no, he could really balance the budget Trump style if he burned down the country and then got the insurance money.
I'm telling you, I'd rather vote for Al Capone. I read his biography. He's a better businessman than him.
He's not alive anymore.
It's the truth. He's really good at money
from our country right now.
He may kill you if you don't pay. But.
I mean, Trump says, you know, Biden's bumbling idiot, can't do anything, right? But then he goes and says that Biden's the one who's taking him down. So I don't know which one he is.
Biden can't even train his dog. You think he's going to be able to take him down? Come on.
There's like a hidden hand that does work within a dominant ideology. So, for example, we could say that Jeff Bezos has no say in what the Washington Post reports. And if we look at that factually, we have no evidence that Jeff Bezos called up the editor and told him, don't run this story. However, it's in the interest of the people who work at the Post, because they know they can look around. So we may not have direct evidence, but we know that the hidden hand is at work. This was written by Ben Dagdikian in 1986. He has a series of books on it. And people just know, how to behave. The reason why you see all those people line up at the courthouse, Ramaswamy and all them, they're playing for the power. They know that this is the wagon train, and they get attention and media.
Sure.
They all went to that courtroom auditioning for vice president.
Who could hold the jail cell, best key?
Hang me next. Hang me next.
Alex, can I ask you guys this question, then, Alex, and everybody?
Yeah.
They're there because they're leading. They're looking at fool's gold in Trump. Alex, after Trump loses, how fast do you think they jump off the Titanic?
Within a second.
Yep.
Within a second.
They're all fucking
and they're throwing
sheep.
the babies out of the boat. I can tell you that.
And the only
sheep.
reason that Trump is running for president again is to keep himself out of jail.
Yep.
Because otherwise, a lot of these things would have come to fruition, and he couldn't use I'm running for president.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a real point.
Yeah. I
I
mean, Trump is constantly using, Judge, I have a campaign I'm running. Well, okay, why don't you stop running and we'll get on with this trial, okay?
And when we finish the trial, you can go back to your campaign.
Huh? What?
When we finish the trial, you can go back to your campaign.
Yes. I'm sorry, but my wife is having a baby. Well, that's
the trial is part of the campaign.
That's very nice.
How many times have you gone to jury duty and the judge you told them you had to work and the judge says, well, you're not working this week.
That's right.
Yes.
I used to hold my thing
Kevin.
lunch.
Exactly. I mean, I just think that to begin with, and you can't deny this, Bree, Trump is a major crybaby. I mean, he is a major fucking wuss.
He's worse than me.
Huh?
No, you're right. That's true.
Yeah.
Is that one of those spy phones? I've never seen a phone. 5 lenses on it.
Well,
it's a KGB phone.
No, I think 3 of those lenses are like the 3 lenses on this, but then you also have a flash up here and another thing down here, and that probably makes up for the other 2 circles he's got there.
Oh. That's a spy phone, KGB phone. That's
KGB. It's a burner.
It's a burner phone.
That Breaking Bad is so good.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to it.
You're really eating.
Oh, it's so good.
You're on a roll, Tony.
He's turning man into Cranston.
Wait, I send him some pills and he calms down and speaks intelligently.
The pill worked beautifully, Alan. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna
Send him some Marinol.
No, it's actually Zyrtec for my allergies. Oh, Alex, I didn't sneeze or no issues at all.
Really?
Yeah, really good. I walked the dog about 5 miles.
I don't sneeze that much, but my eyes are constantly burning.
Oh,
yeah.
It'll make a difference.
I took it, nothing.
Really?
Yeah,
well,
really
I think
good.
I have some Zyrtec here. I'll try it.
Definitely try it. I tried one this morning.
It doesn't work for me anymore. I'm using something with an A.
Allegra.
Allegra.
No, it's some other thing.
Well, Trump doesn't start with an A, so what is it?
Like Arias or something.
Yeah.
It's 3rd generation. Zyrtec is 2nd generation.
That's correct. Non-drowsy, and they work better.
The 3rd is now the big one.
Yeah, yeah.
I would move over more, but this.
I think I tried Zyrtec. I tried Zyrtec, but the trouble is all of these, if you use them too much,
that's what I'm scared
they
of,
lose their ability.
That's right. You got to switch them up.
Yeah. Anyway, so But let me see here. Anything else in the news? I guess there's nothing else in the news, is there?
Well, did you see where the Louisiana legislature has now took mifepristone, the morning after pill, and made it a controlled substance like hydrocodone.
Wait a minute, how can they do that? Only the feds can make it a
You can
controlled
just order
substance.
it through Mark Cuban's company.
Well, my question is, wouldn't that be something only the
only the feds can decide what is and isn't a controlled substance?
Well,
doesn't everybody order through online from Canada?
Well, that's the other thing too. So our legislature here in Kentucky passed a law that said if something happened to Mitch McConnell, that our Democratic governor would have to appoint a Republican to take his place. That's against the 17th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution.
Yes.
But they still passed the law.
With it, though.
But they still passed the law.
and somebody will then have to go to the Supreme Court and fight it, and that takes a lot of time.
What'll happen is the governor will appoint whoever the hell he wants, and then the Republicans will have to take him to court saying that he can't do that, and he'll defend himself and he'll win.
Now, if let's just say he has to appoint somebody, and he decides to appoint a Republican, that's okay, right?
For them, yes, because we have a supermajority in the legislature.
Yeah, okay.
Well, what if he wants to appoint his own Republican, like
He can appoint any
Merrick
Republican.
Garland type of Republican?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's one of those situations where we got away from having robber barons in the Senate with the 17th Amendment, and it was supposed to make it more of an even election, statewide election for senator, and part of the legislation was that if there's a vacancy, the governor has the power to do this.
Yeah.
But isn't it only right that you appoint the party that was already in power?
Why is it right?
No.
Because that's what the people
Republicans never
chose.
do that.
Yeah, well, the next election, it's only until the end of that term. In the next election, if the people want to pick another guy, they have the right to do that.
And that's what I'm saying. So you pick somebody of that party.
Well, I
who's
say
a
that
more
if
friendly
you
to your
have
party.
you have a senator and he leaves office and you got to appoint a new one, you should probably appoint somebody of that same party, only because that's what people voted for.
That's what the people selected.
Yeah. And, it's probably another election coming up in a couple of years, and you can then turn it around.
Like I said, and that's where you pick somebody who's a little more friendly to your state.
Jason, you need to get a
believe that
condo
when
for
the Republicans
Vernon too
do
in
that.
Mexico.
Need to get what?
Give me one case where a Democrat died or left office and a Republican governor appointed a Democrat.
Yeah.
Give me one case of that, then I'll believe you.
Yeah. Well, dream on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess it's time to kind of throw the theme on here. Look at what! Oh my
Whoa,
God!
that
Look
looks
at
good.
that
My God,
feast!
that's lunch?
I wish I were where he is
That
right
looks
now.
so good, Bree.
It does look good.
Wow.
Too bad you're a Trump supporter. I hope there's no any salmonella in that fish. No, I'm kidding.
Mercury.
Maybe you're gonna have to clean out your ears. I said, who did I say? Not my vote.
I heard you said you were going to vote for Biden.
All right.
I'm
So
busting your balls, Bree.
We like it.
why? Why am I voting for him?
Because he's got the same hairstyle you do.
That was a good one by Alice.
Very good. Thank you,
It's getting
Alan.
better.
Hey, listen, Jeff, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Always like it when Jason comes our way, and do it more often. You did it. You also did it on the Monday show too.
My schedule might be changing, so I might be coming on Fridays a little more often.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kevin, thank you. Thank you to Alan. Thank you to Vernon. Always good to see you. Brian, we can hardly see you anymore, but yeah, wave your hand. There we go. Thanks for being with us. Thanks to Tony. Thanks to Bree. Thank you for calling us all the way from Indonesia. And finally, the lovely and attractive Charlie Wallace. Everybody wave a big wave goodbye, and I'll wave at you, okay? There they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. We'll be having another citizen panel on Monday for our Monday show, which goes out over Facebook. In the meantime, stay tuned for Amy Manuel, she's next with The Intersection. She'll be taking your calls on Skype at GabNet Live. I'll see you again also a week, next Wednesday at same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.